There we go. All right. So we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order of the Camarillo Airport Authority and the Oxnard Airport Authority. And Director Santangelo, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Be happy to. Please stand. Hand over heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and we have the august chair of the Oxnard Airport Authority having just walked in. Wonderful timing. Thank you. Sorry we got started without you, Gabe. And our brand new member of the Oxnard Authority, Mr. Rodriguez. Great to have you aboard. So on that note, let's do roll call.
For Camarillo Airport Authority, Supervisor Long.
Here.
Supervisor Lopez. Okay. For the record, Supervisor Lopez is running late. Chair Tremblay.
Here.
Councilmember Santangelo.
Here.
And Vice Chair Bear.
Here.
Camarillo Airport Authority has a quorum with 4 authority members present. Would you like me to do the roll call for Oxnard Airport Authority?
You can press it long enough to go green.
Thank you. Yes, can we please get the roll call for the Oxnard Airport Authority?
Absolutely. Supervisor Long.
Here.
Supervisor Lopez is running late. Councilmember Rodriguez. Thank you. Chair Taran.
Here.
And Vice Chair Filkins.
Here.
Oxnard Airport Authority has a quorum with 4 authority members present.
Thank you.
You want me to continue?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. All right. Agenda review, any changes to the agenda?
Chairs, there are no changes, but we do want to introduce, we have a new participant from the airport department side. Ariana is with us tonight. She's taking over for Denise. Denise was promoted into our HR unit. So you'll see the team growing, but Mariana's she loves public speaking. So we're going to hold her back tonight, but we'll have her do an hour presentation because she loves that so much down the road. But thank you. That's it.
And at the risk of embarrassing Mariana, I've had the privilege of working together with Mariana in the district attorney's office for the last couple of years. So she's wonderful, and you got a great new person at the Department of Airports. So welcome aboard. All right. So no changes on the agenda. Let's go to approval of minutes, March 13. Anybody have any issues relative to the minutes?
Motion approved. Second.
Or we have a motion and a second on approval of the minutes. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
For Camarillo Airport Authority, Supervisor Long.
Here. Yes.
Chair Tremblay.
Yes.
Councilmember Santangelo.
Yes.
Vice Chair Bear.
Yes.
That motion passes unanimously 4-0. Would you like me to do Oxnard as well?
Yes, please. If we can do if I can get a motion for the minutes for the,
I move to approve the minutes.
we have a motion by.
I'll second.
Thank you. Motion by our Vice Chair, Ms. Wilkins, and a second by Supervisor Long.
Okay. This is for approval of the minutes for Oxnard Airport Authority. Supervisor Long.
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez. Thank you. Chair Taran.
Yes.
Vice Chair Filkins.
Yes.
That motion passes unanimously 3-0 with 1 abstention by Councilmember Rodriguez.
Thank you very much.
Going. We keep on going? Okay.
Yes, let's go ahead. I seem to be.
Member Rodriguez too.
Yes.
Nice to have you aboard.
Yes. Thank you for joining, for stepping in for Councilor Perillo this evening. And anything you'd like to share before we
No,
move on, if
thank
that's
you.
okay, Chair?
Thanks for the warm welcome. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to it. I live a few blocks away from the airport, so near and dear, and I love learning everything I can about it.
Perfect. That's great. And you see Gabe and I going back and forth as we're trying to share these. We go back and forth on these. So, all right, let's go to public comment period. Are there any public comments on items not on the agenda this evening, Madam Clerk?
There are no public comments, Chair. Would you like Mariana to read out the script for the public comments for members online?
Sure. Thank you.
To the members of the public who wish to address the authorities tonight with live public comments on any agenda item, please visit vcairports.org/meeting-calendar for participation instructions, streaming links, meeting IDs, and passcodes. In-person speakers will be called upon first, followed by remote participants. Speakers will be called to speak after the agenda item is presented. For in-person public comment, please fill out a speaker card and submit it to the secretary before the end of the public comment period. For our remote participants via Zoom or telephone, please accept the prompt to be promoted to speaker and unmute your mic when it is your turn to speak. The general public comment period for non-agenda items is limited to 3 minutes per speaker unless the time allotment is increased or decreased by the chair, depending on the number of speakers. For public comments related to an agenda item, members of the public are allotted 3 minutes per speaker per listed agenda item at a single meeting unless the time allotment is increased or decreased by the chair, depending on the number of speakers. Please use your allotted time accordingly.
Thank you very much. Do we have anybody online at this point who wishes to offer comments?
We have 2 attendees on the line, but no one is raising their hand to speak. Thank you.
All right, we'll go through that. Then on our way to item 6 on the consent agenda. Are there any members of Camarillo Airport Authority that want to pull anything? Gabe, what about with respect to Oxnard?
Do we have any members of the Oxnard Airport Authority who'd like to pull any consent items for discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I'll turn it back to you, Chair.
Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, all items under item number 6.
Move the approval.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
For Camarillo Airport Authority, Supervisor Long,
Yes.
Chair Tremblay,
Yes.
Councilmember Santangelo,
Yes.
Vice Chair Bear.
Yes.
That motion passes unanimously 4-0. And for the record, there were no public comments on that item.
Thank you. And can we get the, just as a matter of clarification here, we had a motion for all items for number 6. Is that correct? Can we go straight to the vote for Oxnard Airport Authority, or would we prefer to do motion and second for this as well?
I'll motion for.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor Long. We have a motion by Supervisor Long. Can I get a second? Second.
second.
Thank you. Second by Vice Chair Filkins. And can we get the vote, please?
Yes, thank you. And for the record, Supervisor Lopez, who is a member of Camarillo and Oxnard Airport Authority, arrived at 6:39 p.m. And Supervisor Lopez, we are approving the Oxnard consent agenda. Supervisor Long,
Yes.
Supervisor Lopez, Councilmember Rodriguez, Chair Taran,
Yes.
Vice Chair Filkins.
Yes.
That motion passes unanimously 5-0.
Thank you very much. I think we are on,
I think Chair Teron, you're on item 7A for Oxnard Airport Authority, so you want
Yes.
to take it away.
sure, thank you very much. Moving on to the regular agenda, we have item 7A for Camarillo and Oxnard Airport Authority. Subject, receive and file the report regarding recognition of alternate public members during the Camarillo Airport Authority meetings. Recommendation,
No.
am I on the right one? This is, yeah, that's last time, even though it's labeled May 8th. My apologies. Please let me, I have a second one here. Thank you. If you'd like, we can go back to last month and revisit that if you'd like.
No, we're okay. We're okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so item 7A, Oxnard Airport Authority, that looks much more what I remember reading from before. Receive and file staff update regarding the completed cleaning of Oxnard Airport's aircraft rescue and firefighting vehicles from aqueous film forming foam to fluoride-free foam. And I should have practiced that one a little bit more. Recommendation, receive and file a staff update regarding completed cleaning of all 4 aircraft rescue and firefighting vehicles, ARF, and aqueous film forming foam to fluoride-free foam. Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Casey Pullman, Deputy Director, Operations and Maintenance. Just a little bit of background. It's been a while since we've had this topic. It's been several months now. So the background on this is we have 4 aircraft rescue and firefighting vehicles stationed at Oxnard. Each of them has or had AFFF, which is the aqueous film forming foam. That's been the FAA standard for many, many years. They have found out that contained within this what they call AFFF is a chemical called PFAS, which is a chemical that is now banned in several different industries. And so we have been directed to remove this foam from our ARF trucks. And as of April 23rd, that has been completed. So all 4 ARF trucks have been cleaned. The tanks have been cleaned. All of the piping has been decontaminated. And now that the AFFF is no longer in use, there's other foams that we can use for firefighting operations. One of them that we are using is called fluorine-free foam, or F3, which is now looks like it's going to be the industry standard for aircraft firefighting. And so this is a environmentally friendly, biodegradable foam, which we're kind of excited to have in our vehicles now. So again, this is kind of a milestone that we're excited about. It's been a long time coming to get rid of this chemical, and I think a lot of our community is going to be excited about it as well. Any questions for me?
Thank you. Do we have questions from the Oxnard Airport Authority on this item?
A motion to receive and file.
Okay, we have a motion by Supervisor Long to receive and file this report. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Lopez. And can we get the roll call, please?
Oops, sorry. It's a receive and file. Chair Tron, did you still want to take a roll call for that?
They made the effort to do the motion, so I'm happy to take the
Of
vote.
course, no
That's
problem.
that's okay, Supervisor.
Uh,
I much appreciate it.
For Oxnard Airport Authority, Supervisor Kelly Long,
Yeah.
Supervisor Vianney Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Gabriela Rodriguez,
Aye.
Chair Gabe Teran,
Yes,
and Vice Chair Barbara Filkins.
Yes.
Thank you. That passes unanimously.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I now have the correct version of the agenda up here, and I see that we do have a joint item here. Would you like to take this one, Chair Tremblay?
On a roll. Keep
Okay,
going.
appreciate it. Thank you. So item 7B, Camarillo and Oxnard Airport Authority. It is the approval of the Department of Airports fiscal year 25-26. Am I on the right one? Seeing head nods. Rent and fee schedule effective July 1, 2025. Adoption of a resolution establishing rents, fees, and insurance requirements for the Department of Airports. Delegation of authority to the county executive officer and the director of airports to execute leases, subleases, licenses, permits, special use activity permits, operation agreements, extensions, amendments, consents, termination notices, and unlawful detainer complaints in accordance with the provisions of the schedule. Recommendations. Staff requests that your commission of authorities recommend that the Board of Supervisors, 1, approve the Department of Airports Department fiscal year 25-26 rent and fee schedule. Exhibit 1 is a clean version. 2, authorize the county executive officer and the director of airports to execute certain leases, subleases, licenses, permits, special use activity permits, operation agreements, extensions, amendments, consents, termination notices, and unlawful detainer complaints as described in section 3 of the attached resolution. pages 8 through 18 of Exhibit 1. And 3, approve, adopt, and execute the resolution, pages 39 through 46 of Exhibit 1, establishing rents, fees, and insurance requirements for the department. And I believe we have some information and presentation.
Yes, good evening, authority members. We're back with the rent and fee. I'm Madeline Hurley, the lease manager, and as a response to your March meeting, a request for a review of one of the line items for the liability coverage for general aviation aircraft owners, to look at the fees that were proposed by risk management and our department to raise the liability limit per passenger from 100,000, which it is now, to 250,000. We followed up and did a survey. If you can fast forward to, I think, 2 more slides. One more. And another one. One more, sorry. So we surveyed the surrounding airports for limits of coverage for this particular category. Some airports don't specify it and some do. We saw the consistency in the $100,000 range, and thus we proposed a reduction to risk management, to which they agreed. So we are not making any change to that category in this version. And then can we go back to the first slide again? Sorry, thank you. There's one other change that we wanted to bring to your attention, and that is the new fee for skydiving. You're all familiar with the new skydiving activity at Oxnard, and this is an operator that has been officed here at Camarillo. They used to take their clients from here to a jump zone in Moore Park, and now they are going to be jumping in Oxnard. And as a result, they are relocating their operations, so they're giving up their office lease here and settling at Oxnard. And so the new fee, after a survey of regional airports and local airports from the Bay Area down, we derived a fee of $6,000 a year, about $500 a month, or $17 a day. So that fee is new. And the other adjustment, I believe we addressed the fee for the credit card use on the portal, which is in line with our other county agencies and as directed. So there, other than that, there's been no change since the last time we met in March, but we wanted to make sure you were updated on those. Are there any questions?
Any questions from the Oxnard Authority? No? Oh, yeah, Chair Bear, or excuse me, Member Bear here.
Just to clarify a couple of things. Hangar keeper insurance is mentioned throughout the document. Does it apply to a private owner subleasing?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so, but I wanted to be sure. In the board reso, there's a discussion about current market approaches to setting rental rates for the hangars. Do we know what current market approaches means?
Well, it would require a study. So, and we're bringing a study to the board probably later this year, after we do an RFP for those services to do surveys.
So when you say a study, you're talking about surveying other counties and other airports?
Mhm.
Got it.
Yes.
In policy 3C of the reso, it talks about the county hangars for the exclusive use of airworthy aircraft.
Mhm.
Doesn't that conflict with the FAA broader definition of aeronautical purposes?
I'd have to defer to Keith on that, but that's been a policy longstanding, but I'm sure he can address it.
I'm sorry, specifically the question.
3C of the board resolution, I realize it's not something your department generated, but it caught my eye. It talks about how county facilities are for the exclusive use of airworthy aircraft. Doesn't that conflict with the FAA definition of aeronautical purposes?
Not necessarily. When you say airworthy, I mean, technically it's aeronautical uses or broad. And they define that to, support equipment and things for aviation. So if there's something specific that's catching your attention.
But
for
look,
sure.
3C specifically says airworthy aircraft.
What we're trying to do, probably, and I have to go look at specifically that section, but we're trying to get from folks, and what we've seen over the years is folks get unairworthy aircraft and just park them.
Yeah.
And then the facility, the hangar becomes a storage unit. So there's a balance. I mean, we have home builders as
Sure.
well. We have all of those things.
And that was my next question. What
Yeah.
about home builders? Someone packs in 20 boxes that are going to eventually be an airplane, but it's going to take 5 years.
Yes,
That's not an airworthy aircraft as defined in 3C. It's an aeronautical purpose, an aeronautical use, but it's not an airworthy aircraft.
well, we can look specifically at the language that is a concern to you, but you get the point of what we need to do to keep the uses, aeronautical uses is the broadest term.
Right.
So if there's something that's catching, we're happy to take a look at that specific language for sure.
Thanks. The definition of flying clubs for insurance purposes, does that include 4 guys who go in a partnership on an aircraft?
It would have to be, so the lease would have to be in the name of the flying club, like it is at Oxnard. There's one.
But what if it's in the name of Camarillo Airplane LLC? It doesn't say Camarillo Airplane Flying Club. It's an LLC that these 4 guys form. Is that considered a flying club?
Not for the purposes of this, because in the case that you're mentioning, we do have some of those leases where we have several owners of an aircraft where they have joint ownership
Yeah.
and they're all listed together on the lease and they all fly the plane.
Okay. I noticed in the workers' comp requirements that you can't have a family member in your business, or else you have to have workers' comp insurance. And I know of at least one business, I'm not going to name names, that has a family member that works in the business. I just think it's kind of draconian to require, you know, if someone's husband or wife or partner is working in the business, to require them to have workers' comp when, I mean, I can see a medical insurance requirement, but workers' comp is expensive and it's hard, sometimes hard to get. And, you know, we want to encourage businesses to be here and more, even more so in my view, encourage family businesses. I think this is a deterrent.
We'll bring that to risk management's attention. That's a niche question that I cannot answer.
I mean, that's fair. I think, and I saw a red line somewhere about proof of medical insurance. That makes perfect sense to me, that someone's going to foot the bill if someone gets injured. But workers' comp becomes complicated and expensive, and I think it's a deterrent to the local business.
I'd be happy to bring that to their attention.
I think that's it. I got others, but I think I'll leave it at that.
Anything else?
Okay, and we have a question by Vice Chair Filkins.
This was to the question of the airworthy aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
I know, if I recall correctly, the private hangar dealt with the home builder situation.
Mm-hmm.
So the question would be, should there be consistency between the county hangars and what's in the private hangar agreement?
So, right. And so typically what we will tell people with a home build that maybe they just got it, or all they need to do is put the wings on. If it's at a stage, we'll do an inspection typically and understand how much longer they plan to work on their plane. The private hangar has an opportunity to fill out an aircraft under construction agreement, which gives them 2 years to finish. At that point in time, they can ask for a reinspection and get another authorization for further time. So, and in policy 3C, you also have that option of, if it's not airworthy, you have an opportunity to request an extension based on your representation that you will bring it into airworthy condition within a certain period of time, and then we'll calendar for an inspection.
Okay. Any additional questions? Oh,
And just
Supervisor Long.
to add with that, that was a long, lengthy discussion between hangar owners and the airport, and that was well dove into, because everyone wants to make sure the hangars are being used for operations and getting ready to fly their planes.
And buying gas.
Yes, so
And getting people off the wait list with airworthy planes.
yeah, so this has been a question that's come up before that was covered. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
One more question.
Yes.
Councilman. I noticed the daily permit fee increased 50% from 199 to 281. Why such a big jump?
It's based on labor rates, so there's a calculation that goes into it. It's a cost recovery element.
In terms of processing the daily permit?
No,
We
it's a
say
cost recovery,
Labor recovery, what labor are we recovering?
operations officers primarily.
And what role do they play in the daily permit process?
So they generate the permit paperwork, but they also supervise all of the paper that goes into it and make sure that the operator is following the permit process and doing what he's supposed to. It's outside the lease management, so it falls to operations.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Mr. Bear, thank you. Okay, any additional questions from authority, or are we good to look at the three recommendations we have here? What is the pleasure of the Oxnard Airport Authority? Oh, yes, Councilwoman Rodriguez.
Oh, yes, thank you so much. On page 37, where we're talking about the exclusions from this scope of services, there's a few exceptions. The noise exposure maps, if they're not being generated by this consultant, is there plan to be generated elsewhere?
You might have a different,
Oh, we're
Item.
looking at a different contract.
yeah, I think this is the rent and fee, which is, talks about what we charge people to use the airport.
Okay, then I rescind that comment.
Not a problem, thank you.
I'll motion staff recommendations on this.
Okay, we have a motion by Supervisor Long. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second by Councilwoman Rodriguez. And can we take the vote, please?
Yes, and for the record, there were no public comments on this item.
Thank you.
Thank you. For Oxnard Airport Authority, approval of item number 7B, Supervisor Long.
Yes.
Supervisor Lopez.
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Okay.
Chair Taran
Yes.
and Vice Chair Filkins. That motion passes unanimously 5-0.
Great. And then on behalf of Camarillo Airport Authority, do I hear a motion?
So moved?
Second. We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Long.
Yes.
Supervisor Lopez.
Yes.
Chair Tremblay.
Yes.
Councilmember Santangelo.
Yes.
Vice Chair Bear.
Yes.
That motion passes unanimously 5-0.
Thank you. Back to you, Chair Turan. You want to call 7C?
Happy to do so. Thank you.
And I'm sorry, Chair Taran, we just wanted to document that item number 7A did not have any public comments as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll make sure to ask for item 7C. Okay, so moving on to item 7C, subject review of fiscal year 25-26 proposed budget. Exhibit 1 is available for review on the Department of Airports website at bcairports.org/meeting-calendar. Recommendation, staff requests that your commission and authorities review and comment on the Department of Airports DOA proposed fiscal year 2025-26 budget for Camarillo and Oxnard airports and Camarillo Roads and Lighting Enterprise Fund as attached, and recommended approval of the Board of Supervisors.
Good evening. I'm
go ahead.
Jamal Ghazali. I'm the accounting manager. Chairs and members. On the screen is a one-page summary of our budget for FY 25-26. We have a total appropriation difference of 640,000. Most of that is related to our business park improvements that we have planned for FY 25-26. You'll see on our licenses and permits, it's a change, an increase of 615,000. That represents two main items. The parking on the airports, approximately 300,000 is what we're budgeting there. And 300,000 for our what do you call it? The Oxnard the Oxnard test range advanced air mobility. Sorry, we lost that one. So we have a bottom line of $1,923. And this is just a summary of the previous slide by line item, by major line item. At the bottom, you'll notice our projected cash balance of 13,156,000. That was affected by two things. We had the fire at the airport. It was actually an emergency, fire on the runway. And we also have a grant reimbursement, approximately 3 million, a minimum of 3 million. So that number should be a bit higher next time you see it. I'll take any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Okay, do we have any speakers?
We do not have any comment on this item.
Thank you very much. Looking at item 7C, we have a recommendation from staff to request that we provide comment and recommendation on this. What is the pleasure of the board? Do we have an action attached to this? Doesn't look like we do. Oh. Excuse me. Yes, we are recommending approval. At that point, then what is the pleasure of the authority?
I'll motion staff recommendation.
Thank you. We have a motion by Supervisor Long. Do we have a second? Vice Chair Filkins
I will second.
leaves us on the edge of our seats, but she seconds. So we have a motion by Supervisor Long, a second by Vice Chair Filkins. May we get the roll call, please?
Yes, absolutely. And this is for Oxnard Airport Authority for approval of agenda item number 7C. Supervisor Long.
Yes.
Supervisor Lopez.
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez. Chair Taran.
Yes.
Vice Chair Filkins.
Yes.
That motion passes unanimously 5-0.
Thank you. And I saw her reaching for the mute button, so I was giving her a second to do so.
All right, let's move over to the Camarillo Authority side. Do I hear a motion?
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Long.
Yes.
Supervisor Lopez.
Yes.
Chair Tremblay.
Yes.
Councilmember Santangelo.
Yes.
Vice Chair Bear.
Yes.
That motion passes unanimously 5-0.
Thank you. I think we've established somewhat of a pattern this evening. Next item, Mr. Chair, you want to take 7D?
Happy to do so. Thank you. Rounding out this section of the agenda, item 7D, subject, receive and file a monthly staff update from Communications and Engagement Manager regarding Ventura County Airports. Recommendation, receive and file a monthly staff update from Communication and Engagement Manager regarding Ventura County Airports. And we have
Good
our
evening.
director here.
Good evening, both chairs and members. Normally, this is our section where Jeanette, and she apologizes, she got called away tonight, so I'm filling in for her. I asked her to kind of change it up. She's done a lot of the feel-good stories, which we'll touch on a bit, but change it up in a bit in showing and describing and talking about the progress we've made specifically on outreach and noise mitigation over the last couple of years. So we'll start off the slides. At a glance, we'll talk about community engagement, building relationships and trust, enhancing education and visibility, and of course, our new fly-friendly VC addressing noise concerns and pilot education. So let's dive into. So the first picture you see here, this is the city of Oxnard has a local leadership program. And we're part of it, kind of getting exposure to city and county government. And this was a visit of their most recent leadership, business leaders in the city of Oxnard coming to visit the Oxnard Airport. Next slide, please. So what we're trying to build in the relationships and trust is establishing community communication system, reoccurring opportunities for feedback to us, providing accessibility to airport staff, streamlining the noise, comment system, being transparent with updates and pushing out information, and of course, commitment to listening to all of our stakeholders. Next slide. This is one of our local schools, teachers and parents that visited Camarillo Airport, I think it was. But we're targeting, local schools, youth-based nonprofit organizations to see jet, large, small aircraft, our aviation unit with the sheriff, fire, and it's based here at Camarillo. Remember, Air Force Museum, Experimental Aircraft Association, get to see the air traffic control towers, those kind of things. And then the marketing material that we're putting out for both airports. Working the booth, educating folks regarding our two airports. Next slide. And then, of course, aviation stories. The component we realized years ago that we weren't telling in aviation at the two airports. You see our very famous Barb Filkins up there with her Light Hawk and the environmental work that she does. We've done pilots and pods in to understand how we're doing, what areas we need to work on. They've been very successful so far. Flight monitoring, we've got a flight monitoring system we purchased, and then commitment to ongoing improvement. Next slide. So now we get into the exciting stuff, for me at least, showing the improvements over the last 2.5 years. So we averaged in 2023, 630 noise. This is Oxnard only right now. 630 noise complaints per month. And then look what happens after the Fly Friendly started to take off, pun intended. 2024, cut that down, average is 251. And then 4 months to date, this year, we're averaging per month 109. So it sees the progress of the improvement. Next slide was the biggest change we made. You saw this slide many times. Top left was the left-hand traffic turn that put our typical touch and go operations at Oxnard Airport right over the top of Oxnard Shores, the Marina, Channel Islands, and that was the bulk of the reason. We were able to work with the pilots, the flight schools, the air traffic controllers to kind of move the bulk of the turns to the right, to the north, and kind of balance those out. And that's been a significant reduction working with everybody. So great work by everybody, and we're doing okay. So then we move to Camarillo Airport. Very different issue for Camarillo neighbors, particularly Old Town. 90%, you've heard us say, 90+% of our comments, noise comments, come from Old Town regarding jets on final approach into Camarillo Airport. So what you see on the left is the first 18 months, January of 23 through middle of 2024. These are the average arrivals per month. On the left is between midnight and 5 in green. And then in the blue is 10 all the way to 6 a.m., larger window. So that's what was happening. And in the middle of 2024, July is when we did a heavy push. We were meeting with all the base corporate pilots that were based here and don't utilize this airport and all the information we pushed out. And you can see the turn almost cut it in half in the amount of arrivals during those times on average per month. Again, the left side from 8 down to 4, and then from 16 down to 9, almost cut it in half. And that's just the initial. You've heard us talk about the contractor and the consultant we're hiring to look at the approach analysis and all that. That's a separate thing. This is just the work, great work that Jeanette and team have done to date. Next slide, please. And then you see interesting slide here again, same time periods, January 23 all the way through the middle of 24. This is the average number of nights where there were no flights per month. So again, we were in that first period in the longer window from 10 p.m. I think those are backwards there, but from 10 p.m. And it kind of cut from 1/3 of the month, 10 nights out of the month, there was no flights. And we doubled that to 20. So 2/3 of the month, there was no flights, particularly between 10 and 6 a.m. on arrivals. So we're making progress. Very, very pleased with the great work so far. Lots to do. I'll be clear, perpetuity. This will not end. We'll educate, we'll work on it. We've got other things in the hopper that we're working on, but we wanted to capture what we've kind of accomplished over the first 2.5 years. And then what's coming next? So in May of this year, as we talked about, we expect to bring to our board of supervisors at the end of this month a new contract with a consulting firm to help us look at the analysis, the approach analysis for Camarillo Airport. And then in June, as I mentioned, will be our 4th annual Fly Friendly event here at the Commemorative Air Force. Summer of 25, we'll start community meetings with Flight Tech, which is the company doing the flight approach analysis with We've got a technical team and we'll also be briefing our community members as well. And then August of 25, we bring which you heard a lot over the last 2 years, is our noise studies. We'll have a final hearing. We've got August 3rd and 4th as the dates for the 2 airports for a final public hearing to hear the Part 150 noise study, wrap that up. And then late 25, early 26, additional community meetings about the approach analysis and what we're doing at Camarillo Airport. And then, as mentioned, ongoing communication tower, pilots, community, all of those things. So very proud of the great work. Sorry that Jeanette couldn't be here to do this. She apologizes, had something pop up, but commend her and the entire airport team. Pilots, Barb, Scott have been fabulous working with their membership and the pilots. They live in these communities and all of this stuff matters. And we've done great strides, great progress. Air traffic teams, air traffic control teams have done great work. So kudos to everybody, quite frankly.
Great.
So I'm open to questions if there are any.
Thank you, Director Freitas. We have questions. Yes, Councilwoman
I
Rodriguez.
have a question, more so for my own education. The Fly Friendly BC, when you're talking about the outreach that you're doing and talking to folks, I'm not sure, is that like internal that we are trying to be more conscientious of our neighbors, or is it like the outreach to the community? And my question was really around the pamphlets that you shared in your PowerPoint. Are they in more than English? Is it like multiple languages or only English?
We do. So I'll start all the way back with our noise study we did, both airports. That was out to both community and pilots. That was everybody, multiple language. We had translators, Mesteco as well, and through the entire process. So we do it that far out, and it's all of our stakeholders. So to answer your question, it's community members, air traffic control, pilots. It's flight schools in the LA basin. And so it goes out as far as we could go. Through the whole process, yes.
Just because, from 630 noise complaints to 251 to 109 in 4 months, that seems very impressive. So kudos to you all. Thank you for that.
Lots of work, yes. And our leadership at our board member level to give us direction. Keith, come on, let's make this happen. They're tough.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Okay. Chair Tremblay?
Any questions or comments from members of the Camarillo Authority? I have one comment, and it's kudos. When I think back on the progress that has been made over the last 2.5 years, it has been, I would characterize it, and it's not hyping it to say dramatic and significant in a very positive way. And I think, looking at the inverse correlation between noise complaints and night flights into Camarillo, for example, as opposed to the increase in education and outreach efforts, you can see the impacts. And it is so much better now than it was 2.5 years ago. So I really want to compliment staff, Jeanette and all the staff, and Scott and Barb and everyone affiliated with Fly Friendly. I think it's made a very significant impact. So thank you. So that was just my editorial comment with respect to that. Member Barrett?
I'm going to borrow a page from the Camarillo City Council and say ditto.
So thank you. Supervisor Long.
Thank you for this information. It's really valuable for everybody. And in general, people hear noise or no noise, but seeing the charts and the data is very helpful. Do you see this coming to our board on an annual basis or at any regular basis to ensure the community that those numbers are where they are, like maybe on a yearly basis? I just think this is extremely helpful for all of us. And so I wanted to ask that just as we continue marketing and communicating to say that we are good neighbors. I want to make sure that we're still continuing to build that trust. And so I just wanted to ask that question.
I will respond that Jeanette and I had that exact conversation. That makes sense, that once a year we kind of look at it. But I do want to be clear is those dramatic changes, we will level off at a certain point and kind of be flat, but we want to make sure we don't spike back up.
Yes.
So yes, but yes, that is our intent, that once a year we would kind of show how we're doing. And we'll probably spread it out like where we were and continue kind of.
I'd
Yes.
appreciate that because I think that does, as you were saying, building relationships and trust that goes along with it and the fly program and all that. So I just really appreciate it and thank you for everyone's efforts.
Same thing can be said for bringing that to Camarillo City Council as well. It's important.
I suspect I'll get an invite at some point to.
I suspect you might. Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Chair? I think this is a receive and file item.
Yes, this is a receive and file. Before we move on, just a quick comment that came to mind as I heard Camarillo Airport Authority. I appreciate all of the efforts that have gone into both airports, and it's been significant. I hope that's not lost on these authorities, especially not lost on the public. One thing that did come to mind, though, is the Oxnard City Council did just recently approve a developer agreement and the most recent specific plan for Teal Club. And I anticipate as parallel efforts as time goes on here and that project moves on through its next couple of steps, that we'll continue conversations with the airport and have a really good collaborative relationship on things as we move forward on that. So I appreciate the foundation's been laid for us to even have those conversations at this point. I don't know if we can with confidence say that's always felt like the case. So I appreciate that this work's been done thus far, and I'm sure it'll continue as we move forward. And with that, I'll call for, are there any public speakers on this item before we move on?
There are no public speakers on this item.
Okay, thank you very much. And that was the receive and file as mentioned. Mr. Chair, would you like to take the balance of the agenda? I'm good. Thank you.
You got this.
All right, so we'll move on to the director's report, and we have Mr. Freitas here already.
Yes, thank you, Chair. First slide, just want to report out the airport attended the most recent Defense Industry Forum held April 15th and 16th. Pretty good attendance in Ventura County. I think there was a couple 100 to 300 folks that attended. And our outreach was really, as we've discussed, the development of the test range facility and kind of getting to know some of those players that might use our test range in the future. So just kind of want to share that. Pete? And the next item is, I'm sad to report, we've got two members, senior members of the airport staff that have decided to retire on it. I don't know. I'm the oldest one in the room, but somehow everybody else is retiring around us. But both Dave Nathy, Deputy Director of Finance Admin, and then Jamal, who you met earlier, as our Finance Manager.
We'll give you a pass.
He was thinking about his retirement location, that's distracted. But anyway, just want to thank both of them for their great work over the last keeping me out of trouble as much as best they could. So thank them both. And the next slide, we have, you heard us talk separate from the whole skydiving thing we were working on with the local company. We got a call from the Army's Golden Knights. So what they do is a recruiting effort with the United States Army is the Golden Knights, which is their skydiving unit, goes around the country and basically does tandem jumps with local officials. There was an offer of these groups sometime to do some of you, but candidly, I wouldn't let any of you go do that at this point. But we'll talk later about tandem jumps. He's already mad at me. But they had a good event, but I'm sad to say that Oxnard the weather didn't cooperate. They were fogged out for most of their jumps. They got some afternoon jumps in with a few folks, but that was April 21st through 25th that happened. And I'm sure they'll be back. So if there's an interest in the future, we'll capture you down the road. And the last is just want to talk about, we have an 11-acre parcel that you've heard us over the last few years, months at Oxnard. We ultimately, where we stored some of the soil that we were holding until we relocated it, we ultimately looked to redevelop that parcel. It's got some limitations because it sits in proximity to the airport. some interest in solar power and things like that. But we also have interest right now from the port to park kind of new cars on that. So we're looking at some interim things. We'll do our usual community outreach, that there's no surprises with the community and whatnot, but just kind of want to put that out there, that those things, interest is out there. Again, with the port and parking cars, that's obviously a short-term thing, as we've done here at Camarillo for a period of time. But anyway, just want to kind of put that out. And that's all I have.
Great, thank you very much. Any additional items here before we move on? And I would like, if I can, to just thank both of you for your service to our community and to the county and Department of Airports. Wish you well in retirement. And I say to everybody who retires that only 33 more years and I will join you in retirement. So. Okay, and Mr. Chair, anything from Camarillo Airport Authority on the director's report?
Anything from members? Member Bear.
I've not had the pleasure of working directly with Jamal, but I've heard nothing but good things from Keith. So best wishes to you on your retirement. A little jealous, but best wishes anyway. On the other hand, I have worked with Mr. Nafee, and he is just a wonderful asset to this department, to the aviation community in Ventura County, and his absence, his departure will leave a void, and you'll be missed very much. So I wish you the best in your retirement, but please know how much you'll be missed.
Now it's time for me to turn the tables on Member Bear and say ditto. Thank you, both of you, and thank you for your dedication to public service. Mr. Chair, handing it back to you.
Thank you. All right, move on to reports. Any questions or items about the reports we had listed in item 9? Seeing and hearing none, without objection, we'll move on to correspondence. Director Freitas, anything you'd like to highlight from the correspondence item of the agenda?
Chair, I do not have anything specific to pull out. I do not.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments on that? Okay, and my apologies. Do we have any public comments on either of those items I have mentioned?
None, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and now we'll move on to item 11, authority comments. Do we have comments first from members of the Oxnard Airport Authority? Just a very high energy tonight. That's that's great. I just have one quick comment. I appreciate Director Freitas reaching out and making the offer as is in his nature to sit down with our newish mayor. Now we're a few months in here, but Mayor MacArthur on all things related to the Oxnard Airport. He was in our conversation very excited to hear that, and we'll be setting up a meeting shortly. And as was mentioned, a presentation going to the Camarillo City Council, I'm sure is very welcomed. When we meet with the mayor, I'm sure he'd be open to that discussion for Oxnard City Council as well. I think it'd be great to get updates similar to what we had here this evening. And last thing I'll just share, I appreciate my fellow chair for giving me some space to get back in my groove here after going from one thing to the next and then jumping on. And I will say, you've probably noticed I like to be as paperless as possible, and that works out 99.9% of the time. And when I jumped on this one, it said May 8th, but I was reading the agenda from the minutes from the previous meeting, which is why I had the date May 8th, but it was showing me the previous agenda. So thank you for the opportunity to get in an actual positive group here tonight. So, all right, those are my comments. I'll turn it over to the Camarillo Airport Authority.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I just think we're extremely efficient here. Any members from the Camarillo Authority have any comments? Sorry, Susan. I actually have two. The first is that if we have the Golden Knights back or any other military operation that are, how do I want to say this? Inviting members of the authority to go out on a tandem jump, I certainly would be interested in that personally. I don't know that she would, but anyway, we would be very interested. And my second was just a request that the next time you have a term such as aqueous film forming foam to fluorine free foam on the agenda, that as a separate agenda item under the Brown Act, you put it on and provide an award to whichever authority member can say it fast and correctly 5 times. but I guess it can't be a Brown Act item. That's it from my standpoint. Any other? All right, Mr. Chair, back to you.
Thank you very much. And I will just say that as far as the tandem jumps, we have a measure in the city of Oxnard that prohibits us from accepting gifts from anyone we contract with. So unfortunately, we won't be able to accept that free tandem jump. So, but we will cheer on
pay for
our
it?
other.
You could pay for it.
I could pay for it. That's correct.
And I think it's it's a military, and I think it's okay. So, but you can, I don't. Well, we can all check with our own city attorneys.
Rodriguez is ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you. With that, we will go ahead and move to adjournment then. And our next regular meeting is scheduled for Thursday, June 12th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. Come check out the elevator if you get a chance at this building. So,
And could the record please note that the Oxnard chair has done this meeting in record time.
well, we got a great team. So
Thank you.
thank you very much.